Today we're going to apply solving all those different types of equations into real life situations.
No way.
Okay, so everyone knows the process of solving story problems, right? Real life situation problems. These are the things you're going to read the problem very carefully and label things. Draw pictures, translate, consolidate, solve, find all the answers, and then check your final answer and make sure, interpret it the way you should. Okay, so this is all old stuff that you already know. We are going to combine our prior knowledge and our new knowledge of solving these ugly type of equations into these problems. So let's read this together. It says, the average of two real numbers is 41.125. Well, what do you want to call our two numbers? X and Y. Those are your two numbers. We don't know what they are, but we know that the average of them is 41.125. How do you average two numbers? Yes?
You add them and divide by 2.
So does everybody agree, if you add these up and divide by 2, that's the definition of average of two numbers? So that's one equation right there. Then it says their product is 1683. So how, using these two letters as our numbers, how would you write the product is 1683? X times Y is 1683. So these are the two equations that we have, but we don't know what the answers are. So your job is going to be to merge one into the other using substitution. So we could do several things. The easiest thing would be to get X or Y by itself. Let's solve this equation for Y. It'd be easier than solving this and plugging it in here. So we can manipulate, we can multiply 2 times 41.125, what do you get? 82.25, and then subtract X. So Y is equal to 82.25 minus X. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you. So now what you're going to do is you're going to merge these two equations. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going to rewrite this equation as X times, what's another name for Y?
82.25.
And then equals 1683. What you're doing is substitution. Okay? Now, when you type this in your calculator, for some reason on the Inspire it gives us an error message. But if we were to distribute this and write 82.25x minus x squared equals 1683, we could set this equal to 0 on our calculator like we did over the last few days and solve this. So let's do that. Let's type in, let's use technology here, and we're going to do new document. I'm going to add a graph. I'm going to type in here, like I've been doing, 82.25x minus x squared, and then minus 1683. Whoops, and I did that again. I have to bump this down. So minus 1683. Check to make sure it's typed in correctly. So 82.25x minus x squared minus 1683. Then hit enter. And you may not see anything. Why? Because the answer is bigger than 10 or negative 10. So what we want to do is we want to zoom, hit menu, and we're going to zoom out. And we're going to hit zoom out a couple times. And there it is, right there. Let's zoom out again. And there's your two answers. right there. Now these little grid marks are telling me that the graph is going by 5s, whereas that's 80. So now, how do you think you're going to find these two answers? Analyze graph. Oops. So menu, analyze graph. We're going to find the zeros like we've been doing. Now, the first answer you're going to get is 38.3. That's that one right there. So now how do you get that? You can type in your lower and upper bound, or you can just scroll over with your little rolling line.
You know you don't have to
Just
do
go
that.
like
right?
this.
You don't have to do that?
Just
You
Just
swipe.
like this.
Swipe, yeah.
Oh, look at that. You guys are smart.
my God.
Oh my god.
No, do
But
it
I'm
again.
scared. There.
Sometimes you
Okay.
do things we're scared of, but it's okay.
And there's the answer.
Okay, now click the middle button
Now
again.
hit the middle button again.
That confuses me.
Why? 38.3.
Oh, never mind. I got it.
38.3. Now how do you get the other answer?
Same thing.
You do the same thing. Menu, analyze graph, 0. And it is 44. There's your other answer, 44. So what are my two answers? 38.3 and 44. Now, can we check these answers to see if they work? Yeah. If you average them, guess what they should be? 41.125. And if you multiply them, what do you think you're going to get? Yep. Next one.
I like this. This is easy.
This is what?
I like this.
You like this? Oh, good.
That's weird.
Is this gonna be like this easy throughout the whole
No.
thing? This audio, why do you gotta do that to me?
Okay, this one says a rectangle is twice as wide as it is high. So let's draw a rectangle. Remember, drawing it is one thing, one option for you. Are you gonna always draw a picture? No, I couldn't draw a picture on that one.
You gave us-
Oh, I know. There's a picture there, but pretend like, you're not always gonna see a picture. Let's pretend like we don't have it. So we've got this rectangle, and what two letters do we like to use for rectangles? L and W, right? L and W, so let's stick with it. This is saying that it is twice as wide as it is high. So it's twice as wide as the length. So what would we have to do to these two sides to get them equal to each other? What would we have to do to the length to make these two equal to each other? Double what? Double the length. Does everybody agree that if you double this length, it's equal to the width? A lot of people want to write 2W equals height. No, then that's saying twice the width is equal to the height. So be careful on things like this. Now it says if the area is 24.5, how do you write area? Area is equal to length times width. So if the area is 24.5, so can we write 24.5 is equal to LW? Do you agree with that? Yes or no? Yes. Now what this is, these are your two equations. Your job is to merge them into each other. So you have one variable, so we can use either the calculator or our math skills to solve. So since this is already solved for W, can't I just plug this in right here for W? And I would have 24.5 is equal to L times 2L. L times 2L. Now I'm just writing it like that. How do you write L times 2L? 2L squared. Now in Section 2.2, how did we talk about solving these when you don't have a middle term? How about divide by 2 first? And you get L squared is equal to 12.25. And now you're gonna take the square root of both sides. And L is equal to plus or minus 3.5. But when you're dealing with real life situations, a lot of times you're gonna throw out the negative answer. Why? It doesn't make sense to have a negative length 3.5. You can't have negative 3.5 inches or feet. So we're gonna cross out the negative answer and just use the positive 3.5. And now, how do you think you're gonna find the width? We know what the length is.
Plug in, plug in out.
The width we are claiming is twice the length. So what is 2 times 3.5? 7. So what are the dimensions of this rectangle? It's 3.5 by 7, and we're talking about inches. So this is a 3.5 by 7-inch rectangle. Does that make sense? Okay, let's keep moving on. Okay, we have a rectangular box.
Oh my god.
Now, I know it's drawn for you, but I want to show you. It says a rectangular box with a square base. Can you think of something in real life that looks like that?
A
Present.
A what?
present.
Like a prison.
I said a present.
I think it's like a
Present?
prison.
There's a present.
Well, how about like a shoebox?
No.
No, the answer is yes.
A filing
But what
cabinet.
if the shoebox was
A
Christmas
file
present?
cabinet, yeah.
A drawer.
What does this mean? It means that the bottom is completely square, but then it's taller. And yes, some presents are shaped like that, but not all.
Big
I'm thinking
bottom.
a shirt box, it'd have to be completely square on one side. So what we have here is a rectangular box where the bottom, I'm gonna call this the bottom, these two sides are equal in length, but this side is not. It's not. So we have a rectangular box with a square base and it does not have a top. It's gonna have the volume of 30,000 centimeters cubed. So what is the definition of volume? Volume is length times width times height, right? But if we use these three letters, x, x, y, how would you write that? How would you write length times width times height? X times y. Do you agree? And what is the volume of this rectangular box? So can you substitute 30,000 in here
Yeah.
and rewrite this as x squared y?
Yeah.
That's one equation. Now, let's keep reading. It says, if the surface area of the box is 6,000 centimeters squared, we want to then find out what the dimensions of the box are. What is surface area? What does surface area mean?
It's like the area of each individual side.
Yeah, so let's count. Here's the bottom. What's the area of this bottom right here? X squared. X squared. Plus, what's the area of this side right here?
4xy.
Why are you saying 4xy?
Because there are 4 sides.
There's 4 of these. This is one, xy, the bottom, or this bottom part right here is xy, this side right here is xy, and then the top is xy. So, we have 4 xy's. Do we have 2 x squareds? No, because it says it has no top. Now, this is the surface area. How much surface area do we have according to our problem?
6,000.
6,000.
Oh my god.
So now, here's your 2 equations. Let's think about this. How are we going to stick one equation into the other? What's the easiest way?
Okay.
Solve for x? You think solving this for x, you're gonna have to take the square root of both sides. I think that would be the easiest spot right there.
Why?
Solve this for y. So you would get y is equal to 30,000
Over X.
over x squared. That's what y is equal to.
And then you substitute.
You're gonna substitute this in here for y.
Something
So
over
now we're gonna
60.
rename this equation, it's like merging the two. You're gonna write this as x squared plus 4x, and then instead of y, you're gonna write
30,000.
30,000 over x squared,
So just like systems of equations.
and then equals 6,000. Questions? Okay, now, unfortunately, if you type this into your calculator, it's gonna give you an error message. On the Inspires, but on the 83s, you could do it. I'm gonna ask you to simplify this just a little bit. What's something you could do with this problem? You can cancel one of these x's out, and there's something else you can do.
Distribute your four.
Yeah, so you could rewrite this as x with a little bit of work. You can 4 times 30,000 this, which was 120,000, over an x. And then I'm gonna bring this 6,000 to the other side. And I'm gonna type this into my calculator. Type that in and see if you can find the answer. There's going to be, 3 answers. You're gonna see 3 answers. One's negative, so you're gonna throw it out. So carefully type in a new graph, which is x squared plus, and then I like to use my, I like to use my fraction button. Does anyone use that fraction button? Okay, it's nice. 120,000, and then underneath is an x, and then arrow out, and then minus 6,000. And we're gonna hit enter, and you may have to search for this. You are gonna have to search for this, not me, you are. Okay, so I don't see my answer. So I'm gonna zoom, menu, zoom out. And we're gonna have to hit this a couple times, I think, twice. Hit enter, or the middle, till you start to see it. There's one answer. Keep going, there's another answer. And if you hit it again, there's your third answer. This answer you're gonna toss out, because it's a negative, you're not gonna have a negative side of a box. These are the 2 answers. So how do you find these 2 answers out? How do you find that one and that one? You hit menu, analyze graph. Wow. And we're gonna find the first one. There's the first one. What'd you get? I got 21.7.
Yeah.
And then menu, analyze graph, 0. And why did I not get this one? Let's do it again. Menu,
It's still there, you just have to
analyze
click.
graph. It's still there, why don't I see it?
I'm saying with the cursor, it's still blinking like that.
Oh. Wait, what did I do wrong?
You didn't type in the number.
Press the middle button.
I did.
Okay, now scroll.
I did.
It's gone now.
Huh?
It's gone now.
Kara, can you
It's
just?
gone now. Menu, analyze graph, 0.
Okay, now click the center button.
There.
Okay, now scroll over.
There it is, 64 point,
3.
Why is
what is it left?
Press the center button again.
Press the center button again. Now, I have a hard time grabbing this.
You can hold
Like,
it down.
You, yeah, hold
Hold
it.
it down, I did.
Oh,
I've got my other zero again.
Okay, there. Is that better? 64.3. Yeah, I'm uncoordinated.
Me too.
Okay,
We use centimeters cubed, right?
huh?
Will we use centimeters cubed for when we write our answers?
What's the dimensions of the box? What's the dimensions of the box? What are the two answers that you found?
64.3.
21.7 and 64.29. So now, what you'd have to do is play around with these numbers and see if maybe there may be two different boxes. One box might have dimensions, the square part might be 21.7, and then the longer part is that, or it might be the other way around. These might be the square. So these two might be the bottom, 64.29, and then the side is 21.7. So, both of these work, but these are the dimensions. Okay, let's try the next one. Stocks and savings return. We did these problems in 9th grade.
Oh.
Remember this?
But I.
And we did these last year too. You are going to read this really quick. You've got dividends. And you have two stock accounts. One earns 12% and one earns 6%. We're gonna put $9,000 into these two accounts. And we wanna earn 8% on this money. So, systems of equations, do you remember this? Let's use X and Y. How much money are we investing?
X plus Y is going to be 9,000.
Good job. X plus Y is 9,000. We've got two accounts. One is called X, one is called Y. We're gonna put $9,000 within that. Now, does that mean we're gonna put 4,500 in each one?
No.
No. One account, we'll call it the X one, because it's the first one, is worth 12%. It earns 12%. So 0.12X, and the second one earns 6%. Is this coming back to you?
It's gonna equal 0.0.
Now, we want to earn 8% on this money. So off to the side, what's 8% of $9,000?
Couldn't tell
I think it's $720. So we want to earn $720. It's free money that the bank gives you when you put money, give them money. Because they're going to turn around and use that money to loan it out, and they make money on that money. So, question, without a calculator, how do you solve this? This is systems of equations,
Okay,
remember this?
so I would have done a substitution.
You would do substitution?
Yeah, so you'd solve for either X or Y in the first equation, whichever
Okay.
you want.
That's one way. Does anyone do it the way where you move the decimal 2 over here, 2 over here, and 2 over?
No.
I'm gonna show you this way.
You can.
I
You
can't-
can.
Isn't that just eliminate?
It doesn't matter what way you do it. Now, what are you gonna multiply this top equation by?
-6.
Okay, -6 works for me, so -6x minus 6y equals -54,000. So all I'm doing is distributing. And then 12x plus 6y equals 72,000. Now what do? Add these, what do you get?
How'd you know how to multiply that out by 6?
Well, because I want to eliminate. This is the elimination
Oh, okay.
method, remember
Okay,
that?
I see what you're doing.
So 6x is equal to what? 18,000. And what's x equal to?
3,000.
3,000. What does that interpret this answer?
So you're gonna put what, $3,000?
You're going to put $3,000 in the account that earns 12%. So $3,000 goes in the 12% account. So what is left for the 6% account? How much are you gonna put? What's left? 6,000. 6,000 will go in the 6% account. That's just a simple system of equation problem. Okay, this next one is a little bit more difficult. This one's a little bit more difficult. A pilot wants to make a round trip. A round trip. It's an 840-mile round trip.
Is there a headwind?
There is. But what does round trip mean?
They're going to and from.
So from Cleveland to Peoria and then back is 840 miles.
I got you.
So what's one way then?
420.
If you went, is the distance gonna change from point A to point B? No. So what's half of 840? 420. So you're gonna go 420 miles one way, 420 one way, 420 the other way. Okay? Now you're in an airplane and this entire trip takes 5 hours. So to go from here to there to back, it's gonna take 5 hours. So the total time is 5 hours. Now, you guys remember headwind and tailwind? Oh, you hated that. Do you know what the difference is? Headwind
It'll slow you down.
is gonna slow you down.
True. Tailwind will speed you up.
Tailwind is gonna make you go faster. Do you know what R and W are? R is the speed of your plane and W is the wind that's changing that speed.
Oh my god.
So when it's headwind, you're gonna do R minus W. This is headwind. When you've got tailwind, we like tailwind. Do you ever ride a bike and
The wind's blowing.
I
the
remember
wind,
this.
that's tailwind when it's easy. The wind is pushing you, you're pedaling and you're just going faster. So headwind is slowing you down, tailwind is making you go faster. Now, do you know the distance formula? Distance is equal to
I'm not doing this right now.
rate times time. So let's talk about going both ways. Okay, so let's talk about going from Cleveland to Peoria. Let's talk about that. How far is it from Cleveland to Peoria? What's the distance? 420. Now, there's gonna be a headwind of 30 miles per hour.
Can you zoom out a little bit?
Zoom out? Sure.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. So going to Peoria from Cleveland, there's a headwind of 30 miles per hour. So we're gonna write R minus 30. Now, how long does it take us to get there? We don't know. We're gonna say T1. So going from Cleveland to Peoria, we don't know, T1. Now, would I expect you to do this without me showing you? No. This is why I'm getting you to think about this. Now we're going back to, now we're at Peoria and we're gonna go back to Cleveland. How far is it from Peoria to Cleveland? What's the distance? 420 miles. Now we've got a 40-mile-an-hour tailwind. Tailwind. So what are you gonna write here? R plus
30.
40.
Just kidding. Never mind. 40.
And how long is it gonna take? We don't know. We're gonna say T2. So now what you're gonna do, what do we know? We know that the time took 5 hours. So this time plus this time is equal to 5. So if we solve this equation for T sub 1, T sub 1, do you agree, is 420 over R minus 30? Do you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
And would you agree that T2 is 420 over R plus 40? Would you agree with that? And would you agree that the time that it took to go there and back, is 5 hours. So do you agree that T1 plus T2 is 5 hours? Yes or no? It takes 5 hours. So what you're gonna do is substitute this in here for T1, this in here for T2, and we have this crazy equation. Can you tell me what it says? It says 420 divided by R minus 30 plus 420 over R plus 40 equals 5. Now, believe it or not, last year in Algebra 2, we solved these by hand. We did. We showed you how to do these by hand.
You did.
We multiplied, we got rid of the common denominator, which is R minus 30 times R plus 40, and we did it by hand. But now I'm gonna let you use that calculator. You're gonna type this in your calculator and solve it for R. We are looking for, what's the engine speed? That's the R value. So, how do you type this in your calculator? Okay, so I'm gonna go to new document, and I'm gonna type in, I like my fraction button. So I'm gonna use 420 for my numerator, and you don't have to use R. What can you use? I like X. X minus 30. And then plus, and then do another fraction. That's what's nice about this calculator, is that it's a lot cleaner. And then X plus 40. And then what are you gonna type in?
-5.
Good job, -5. And hit enter. Okay, so what did you get? This answer is -12. And there's another answer, we have to find it. So we're gonna zoom out. Think about, you guys, you're talking about an airplane. Does an airplane go 10 miles an hour? No. What kind of numbers are we looking for?
Big.
Big. So you may have to keep hitting until you find it, and we're getting close. It's right somewhere in here. Here is the answer. Somewhere in here. So it's between 0 and I have 640. So believe it or not, this is crossing the x-axis somewhere. How do you find that? Menu, analyze graph, 0. Now we're gonna hit it. Upper bound. And there it is, 170. Whoops. I lost it. Menu. Analyze graph. Now, you could type in your upper and lower bound. You could type in 100. Enter. And it hit it for me, 170. So that's the answer right there, 170. So how fast is this plane going? 170 miles an hour. Questions? Okay, I think I'm gonna do one, let's see, one. Let's do one more. Width of a garden walk. A landscaper wants to put a cement walk in its uniform in width around a rectangular garden, and the garden is gonna measure 24 by 40. She has enough cement to cover 660 square feet. How wide should the walk be in order to use all the cement? Okay, so this is a picture of it. So our garden here is 24 by 40, and it's rectangular. We want to put this cement walkway that is the same width. So what I want to do is and I have 600 square feet of cement. I want to figure out the area of the whole thing, like, let's pretend like we were gonna cement this whole thing, even the garden, we're gonna put cement over the plants. And then we're gonna subtract the area of the garden, and we're gonna set that equal to 600, so that's our game plan. So, if we were to cement this whole thing, if this is 24, what is this whole length right here? From here to here. So this is X units, and this is 24, and this is X. What is it from here to here? 24 plus 2X. So from here to here is 24 plus 2X. Does everyone understand that? Now what about here? Actually, I wrote it the other way. I think this is 24.
Yeah.
This should be 40. This should be 40 by 2X, sorry. 40 by 2X. So from here to here is 40, so we're gonna say 40 by 2X. So what's this measurement from here to here? If this is 24, and this is X, and this is X, what's it from here to here? This is 24 plus 2X. So now, how do you do area? Area, if I were to cement this whole thing, it's this times this, right? So in other words, 24 plus 2X times 40 plus 2X, that's gonna cement the whole thing. But do we wanna cement our flowers? No, we're gonna pop out the area of the flowers, which is 24 times 40. And what we have remaining is this area, just the cement. And we want it to be 600 square feet. So I want you to type that in your calculator. We're not gonna do any math. We're gonna type this in just like that and see what we get. Okay, so we're going to add a new graph. Okay, so we're gonna type in, I'm gonna be lazy, I'm gonna type in 24 plus 2X, and then parenthesis times 40 plus 2X, end of parenthesis, and I'm gonna subtract the area of the garden, which is 24 times 40, and then I'm gonna subtract 600. And see what I get. Bam, there's your answer. How do we find that? Menu, analyze graph, 0. And it is, lower bound, I'm gonna do 3, enter, 5, enter, and there it is. 4 point what? 4.15? Is that what you guys got? Oh, you know why mine says 4.15?
Switched out.
Because I have a boo-boo. Did anyone catch my boo-boo?
Supposed to be 6.
This should have been 660. So if it were 600, the answer was my answer, which is 4.15. But if you typed it correct, because my eyes are bad, what should this be? This should have been a 660. My bad. So if you type it incorrectly, you should get, here's your graph. It's gonna hit, right here, is gonna be 4.5. So how wide should this cement walkway be? 4.5, what? Feet. We're in feet. Do you get this? Okay, can you hit the camera?
Why did you subtract